We're going to go with the computer mic, which is terrible, so I apologize. I'm going to try that one more time. We're going to go with the computer mic, so I apologize for the terrible mic, terrible audio, because it's going to be bad since it is now using the MacBook Pro microphone. But either way, we're gonna stick with it. So I'm gonna go over, like I said, I'll kind of do a quick recap. Again, thanks Jason for letting me know you all couldn't hear me. But we're gonna go over properties that sold really quick, and then 2 of those properties that sold last week in a day or two, and how people might have been evaluating them, and things to think about if you're listing a property or if you're buying, and just telling you where the market is at in an investor's eyes. And secondly, I'm going to go through a set of properties, 3 properties, and we're going to do kind of a high level analysis on a couple of them, and then a deep dive analysis in another, which will just give you an idea of what's on the market, what's been on the market for a while, what opportunity there is out there. Last week I did one of these, and I'm positive it had no, it was just happenstance, where I did this video, posted it, the next day they decreased it by $30,000, and it sold like that to a point below that what I thought that it was actually a good deal. It sold below that, or it dropped below that price. So found that kind of interesting. Definitely it wasn't like these videos get thousands of views, although that would be awesome. It does not happen, I promise you that. And I'm fairly certain the owner or the investor, or the agent, did not see my videos. But regardless, these are things I think about and I talk through my clients with. So if you are working with an agent, highly recommend you sitting down with them and explaining to them this is kind of the thought process that you want them to help you out with, and that'll give you another perspective. Obviously, if your agent's not willing to do that, you need to be doing this yourself. That'll make sure that you're making good investments and you're analyzing deals properly, and not just kind of rule of thumb stuff, but really deep dive into what the property could be, or what others are selling that are similar to it. So first property we'll look at is this one over in Windsor Heights. So those of you not familiar with Windsor Heights, just a overview map on where it is. Back it up. It's kind of your central Des Moines. Windsor Heights doesn't have a school. It doesn't have any structures, I guess, or not structures, anything besides it's like Clive. So there's no school. If you live in Windsor Heights, you're going to Des Moines, or you're going to West Des Moines schools. And so it's kind of in the middle of Des Moines. It's a bit pretty a small community. They have pretty strict rules. Their folks are generally on the older demographic, although I think that's changing, and they're very particular about their neighbors, and which bodes well for the properties in that area, because it's kind of an association without being an association, if you know what I mean. So this property here sits right in the middle of it. I actually sold one over here up on this intersection, or over here, 68th and Sunset. So the thing about this property is, you see this little cul-de-sac. These are all duplexes, which I find pretty interesting. This is the only one that's sold anywhere recently, but so it got listed. It's 3-bed, and then 2-bed. So you total of 2 units, built in 58, good looking brick. Looks like a new roof. Tuck under garage after you drive around, which is nice. Older AC looks like right there. Doesn't have new windows. You can see that's aluminum windows. Good sized backyard. Kind of feels very, feels like cul-de-sac. Cupboards are dated. Kitchen's dated, but it's not bad by any means. Looks like those are new hardwood finish floors. Decent bathroom. And there's your tuck under garage. The other kitchen. There's the other side bathroom, the other tuck under garage. Don't see anything in the basement. I would imagine one of those rooms was the basement. That's how you're gonna, in this type of unit, that's how you're gonna get your third bedroom. It's got almost got to be in the basement. I don't see too many that are like this that don't. Yeah, it's got to be in the basement. Um, let's see. But one of the things I look at when I'm looking here is I want to see, did the agent double end it? Like, is it a true market sale? Meaning, did this agent also find the buyer and it sells right away when it really didn't hit the market? It was sold before it actually hit the market. And commonly that'll be done with properties that are sold in one day. This one did not. This one has a different agent. So you can tell that. Statistic about this one, $950 for rent on one side, tenant pays all utilities, lease through June of 2022. And then the other side rents for $1,025, and it's month to month. So you're looking at 1,900, almost 1,975 for rents for this, which 1,975, if you do the math, that's well under the 1% rule. So the 1% rule is not, end all be all. It's just a rule of thumb. And what I've noticed is these houses, these duplexes that come up for sale in the Windsor Heights, the Clive, the West Des Moines, not Des Moines proper, but the quote unquote suburbs of Des Moines, they are selling for well below the 1%, meaning they're going to sell for the 0.7, 0.8. So if you do the quick math on this, do this quick, 299 divided by 1975. Bad math. Well below. It's got to be like the 0.6 rule, 0.6, 0.7. So the one thing you got to think about this though is it's not that they're buying the property with the current rents. What they're doing is they're buying the opportunity to increase rents. So I would probably guess, based on what I'm seeing in this picture, that rent of $1,025, that tenant pays all utilities and it's a long-term tenant and they're month to month, that number is going to get bumped up to $1,300 to $1,500 a month, depending on what's done to the property. Now, yes, that could take some vacancy, but when you take over a property, that is your prerogative. It is up to you when a tenant's month to month, and the tenant might stay, or you might do some updates for the tenant. But if you get that to 1,300, and then when this unit's the 2-bed, so it's probably not going to get that high, maybe 1,100, 11 to 1,200, depending on what you do to it. You're looking at a total rent of roughly $2,500 a month. So if you do that 2,500 compared to the 1950, you're really increasing the pro forma, if you will, of this property. So I would imagine someone's buying this for that potential. The other option someone buys this is because they're going to live in it. And people that want a house hack, they don't need to see investor numbers. They just need pretty good numbers, because in reality, they're buying for the long term and they don't need the cash flow right now. They need a place to stay, and they want to kind of arbitrage that where they live versus getting rent for that. And if you can buy a house for $300,000 and your mortgage payment is $1,800, and your tenant on the other side is paying even $1,000 for that, your effective mortgage payment is only $800, and they're helping you, or your effective rent payment is only $800, and you have a tenant paying down the rest of that. So, and that's at current numbers. That's not even considering your ability to increase those numbers, rent numbers. If anyone has any questions, just comment. I believe in this program, I can see your comments. So if you have any questions about this property, or when I say house hack, what that means, let me know. Happy to answer it. Okay, so the other property I wanted to go to was this street. Same situation. It looked like the same seller and the same buyer. So in this situation, seller was Mark John and the buyer was Stephanie Thomas on both of these rentals, or both of these duplexes. So what that probably tells me is it's not someone that is going to house hack them, because it's the same buyer on both of them. KLLB, same everything. So it's an investor. The fact that these were both sold like this, it might have been a 24-hour, which is a pocket deal, and there might not have been an opportunity to show them, except the notes in it do say, like, the notes in it look like it was posted for realtors to see and for realtors to show. But it looks like, Stephanie Thomas had a client that wanted to buy both of them and quick and got it done. So good for them. What I wanted to talk about this property, though, was the fact that this property, let's see here, it's nothing crazy, nothing fancy. It's updated. It's your typical side by side. Nothing. It's even kind of dirty. That was a basement unit. You can see by the brick walls. I'm guessing, maybe not. I think so though. Bathroom. So this one is a two. Yeah, so two bedrooms. Um, Nothing, again, nothing out of the norm, nothing crazy about this, but it sold for 265. And the reason you can get 265 for a property like this, a two bedroom, it's not going to meet your 1% rule, but it is in Clive, Iowa. And Clive is going to get you more rent, more price per square foot rent, more rent per bedroom than you're going to get in most of your Des Moines proper area. So these duplexes that are side by side that are out of the Des Moines proper area, I've noticed that they're selling quite a bit more. I would say in Des Moines, if you're looking in the Beaverdale area, this isn't a 265 sale. This is probably a 245 sale, 230 to 245. So things to think about when you're out investing and you're thinking about properties. That's kind of how that's how I would evaluate them. So when you go to your suburbs, which is your non-Des Moines proper, you're going to get a higher price point, and it's not going to cash flow. Like, it's just not, depending on how you calculate cash flow and what your loan is, but it's very, very rarely going to cash flow. So those are two properties, I believe, on market that I wanted to touch on. And then the other properties, we'll dig into those. I'm going to do one high level. I call them theories, I guess. So looking at the list date, these properties right here, this mind blows. This is mind boggling to me. And I haven't seen these yet because I haven't got an investor that really wants to dig into this. But these are 3 different single family homes that were all rentals, not 13 units. It's 3 single family homes. I can't remember if they're on one parcel or not. Let me check. Yeah, they are all on one parcel, which is a little weird, to be honest. It's a little weird. Regardless, the property in there, it's in the Valley Junction, West Des Moines area. And if you take the asking price as $500,000 and you divide $500,000 by 3, you get $166,000 for each property. And I'm not going to promise, I'm not going to guarantee, but I'm going to take a wild guess that says if you purchase these and you're able to separate them and sell them individually, a 5-bed, 2-bath, a 4-bed, 2-bath, 4-bed, 2.5-bath in West Des Moines, Valley Junction area, they're all going to sell for over 166,000. They just are. Like, and that those have vinyl siding. So I do not know much about these properties. Yeah, that's got gravel driveway, which is crappy and decreases value. But they didn't look terrible by any means. And it looks like tenants are being moved out. 2 of the 3 properties that are moved out. The problem with this type of property is you have to have someone that is willing to take on will the city let me separate the parcels? And you can't get conventional financing for this because it is not a 4 and under unit. It's 3 different properties. So you got to get commercial financing. There's a lot more that goes into this than first glance. first glance says, let's just sell each of these separately. I don't think you're going to be able to do that, at least not without some city work. So my initial thought on this is if this is interesting to you at all, you put it under contract contingent upon the city letting you separate out each parcel. If the seller doesn't like that, fine. You can go back to renegotiating. But the reason I say that I can almost not guarantee, but the price is good. Its price is there for a 5-bed, 2-bath. Let's just do this. We'll do it real quick. This is why. I don't know. We're going to do sold in the last 180 days, West Des Moines. We're going to go to a map. We're going to look at just the Valley Junction area. Oh, they didn't count the Valley Junction. That's why. That's where they consider West Des Moines. Well, that's not going to work. Actually, I think that property is. Where is that property? Either way, we'll take the lowest priced houses in West Des Moines, which is going to be Valley Junction. Not a bad area, just the lowest, usually the lowest price. And we're going to look at these, and we're going to look at them on a list. And you're going to look at if you sold them for 166 right here. This would be where you're at. Of 41, you're already in the top, whatever, 10%, less than that. This is what you're comparing to, which is pretty similar to what those properties were, I would say. Without getting into them. These are even better, selling for more. Actually walked that property. It was beautiful. So my point in that is that 166 per property, very reasonable. You just have to go through the work of parceling each of them out. So the other property I wanted to go through was Kirkwood. So if anyone's paying attention on this property has been off and on the market. It's got a kind of a weird situation. I'm not going to get into too much detail. I'm just going to go over the property, not the situation, because I probably know a little bit more than, excuse me, more than should publicly share, if you will. So, $95K needs quite a bit of work, but it is a 2-unit up down duplex. Right, so you need 1 new kitchen, 2 new kitchens, and carpet, paint, roof, maybe some windows, and then 2 new bathrooms. I think that'd be kind of your extent of it. The rehab, I mean, that's going to depend on your rehabber, but say you can rehab that say you do it for $50,000. That means you're all in on the property at $140,000, and each unit, because they're 2 or 3 bedroom units, and say each unit rents for $800, that puts you at $160,000, or excuse me, $1,600 per month, and you're all in at $140, right? So, I mean, that seems pretty decent. Your 1% rule is $160,000, because I'm certain when you get those rehabbed, you're going to get $800 a unit for them. I'm certain of that. So seems like a pretty decent, bigger project you could burr out of it. What I didn't know, I didn't notice any foundation major issues, but that'd be something that might come up. I'm no inspector. Don't hold me to any of this, but the rough numbers say 140, $150,000 into this, and you're better than the 1% rule, and you know that you have done all of the work on the property. Which I've flipped a property myself, and instead of selling it after I flipped it, I decided to rent it out because I could get $1,000 of rent, and I had a $80,000 loan on it. I could either make $80 or $20,000, or I could rent it out and make better than the 1% rule. And I knew that everything in that property was new because I had contractors that did it all. It was all permitted and everything. So you could burr it. This would be a pretty good duplex burr. Now, again, it's a big project. It's not little. $40,000 into a property, that's a lot of money. But I do think that the numbers, at least from what I'm seeing, the numbers fit. So something to think about. And then I'm going to go over last but not least, this property that just came on the market, and it is 1148 36th Street. It's a big project in the Drake, I believe it was the Drake area. Yep. A little partial to this area. I own the properties right here. So fairly familiar with this. This is even closer to Drake campus. And what we have is it's a big conversion. Let's say big conversion because each of the 4 units is 1 bedroom, and it used to be a house. You can tell it used to be a house. So each of them has a kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. You can tell that this one alone is the upper unit, and it's gonna be a little weird. It's gonna be a little quirky. There's your AC unit. There's your kitchen. Again, a little quirky. That's a small fit back in there. It's an oven, fridge. There you go. Not the end of the world. It looks like it's kept well kept. There's a different bathroom. There's a different kitchen. That's a bigger kitchen. That's a big kitchen for a 1-bedroom unit. Those do look like fake hardwood floors, like LVP or laminate. Oh, they have mini splits. I like that. So I've been looking at doing this to my properties, putting mini splits in each unit so that the tenants pay for their utilities, and I don't have to pay for a monster furnace running all winter. The bathroom looks nice, well done. Looks like the exterior is wood, so looks nice. Nothing stands out. Nothing screams problem. Gross income $32.90. So you're better than the 1% rule. What's it say about the landlord pays utilities and taxes? So what that tells me also is there was a mini split in there, and usually on these properties your electric is split up and each tenant pays for electric. So I wonder if this property does not have split electric meters and just has one big meter, which would be, to me, that would be a downside because it's not really the 1% rule. Because I promise, if you're bringing in $32.90 a month in rent and you're selling it for $295, you have over $300 a month in utility expenses. I know that I have that in my fourplex. That's very very similar to this property. I'm paying about $250 a month in on average in gas and electric, and then water is about $150 a month. Nope, $200 a month. So I would say you're actually below the 1% rule on this deal. Although I would love to see this sell for $295 because that would mean that my property is worth probably $260, $270. So I would not hate to see this $295 sell, but think those numbers are pretty tight. Anyway, that's the last of them. If no one has any questions, no one has any comments, I'm going to head out, and I'll do this next Monday. Try to get a little bit better every week on the software that I use, on the process that I take. But if you are looking at any properties in the Des Moines market, reach out to your agent, get some feedback on what's selling, what's not. This one is specifically on multifamily, and I sell quite a bit of multifamily, both listing and selling or helping people buy. So pay attention to it pretty close. So if you are interested in buying any long-term rentals or um, small multifamily properties that you're going to buy or rehab and refinance later, let me know. It's a process. It's not like buying your cookie cutter house out in the suburbs. I feel like a lot more that goes into it, but it's what I've done for quite a while. Done it myself and helped other people do it. So let me know if I can help out, or if you have any questions, whether you're looking right now or you're looking in 6 years. I'm happy to sit down and have that kind of consult with you and figure out what you're trying to get out of your rental portfolio. So do that all the time. Anyway, my name is Darson Grantham. Again, I'm a realtor and investor here in Des Moines, Iowa, a realtor with Keller Williams. And if you have any questions, reach out. See you later.